beautiful day. All right, so Garrett Riley's headed to Clemson. What's his contract look like? There we go. You guys have much better eyesight than I do.
Well, not anymore. But let's see. Let me put the old man cheaters on.
I mean, what do you want me to do here? You want me to go down every bonus? Because there's like 10 of them listed here.
Well, no, you just go down the first 5, and then when it says "and," I'll get into that.
Okay, $10,000 for every ACC championship game appearance. $20K for a bowl game with 8 or more regular season wins. Wait. Okay, so this is okay. So he gets $10K if they make the ACC championship game. Mm-hmm. He gets $20K if they make the ACC game and a bowl game with 8 or more regular season wins. He gets the $40K bump if they make the CFP and have a non-semifinal appearance in addition to the ACC championship game. $50K if they make the CFP semifinals in addition to the ACC championship game. $60K if they make the CFP championship in addition to the ACC championship 10K. And then $25K if they make the – wait, that can't be right.
No, it's and. That's and.
Oh, okay.
Some of those are or and
then,
or, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that's why – okay, and then and $25,000 if they are the college football playoff champion. Then there's also like, $50K for top 10 relative offense, $100K for top 5 total relative offense, $50K for top 10 total offense, $100K for top 5 total offense. So, I mean, you can get into the weeds on that. But
3 years, base salary of $1.7 million. That does not include $1.75 million, but that does not include all of the additional. What looks like to me could be anywhere from $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in bonus money.
Yeah, he's probably going to make about in most years that. If this works out, and I don't foresee him being at Clemson too terribly long because I do think he'll be a hot name as head coach, but I do foresee him being there more than a year. He'll be making $2 million most years or over $2 million while he's there because they'll probably do a lot of those things.
Yeah.
Their talent is – I read all over, like their talent has dipped a little bit, but not to the point where you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's so far away. Part of it just they need a new scheme. And, look, they got players right now that he can work with in that offense really, really well. So, like Craig said yesterday, he did wonders with Max Duggan, a guy who was, kind of lost in the wilderness before this year. And Cade Klubnik was someone who the whole college football recruiting world knew about. I don't think unless you were from Iowa or a TCU fan, when Max Duggan signed, you really knew who he was.
Yeah, I think Sonny Dykes deserves credit too.
Yeah.
I do think that there is that part of it. It's like, yeah, Garrett Riley's the next up-and-coming guy. And obviously you look at Lincoln and, it's a family thing too. It's not like he's just fortunate. But, Sonny Dykes is pretty good when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. And so I think you do take that into account. But you realize the guy who football runs through the family, obviously a great offensive mind that did, in his role, maximize that TCU offense as much as possible. Obviously not in the same token, the greatest final showing in purple, but look at who they were playing. That probably was going to happen to most anybody. However, they had a great year. He's a hot name. He's an up-and-comer. Clemson needs change desperately, and I think that they made a big splash hire with the announcement of Garrett Riley yesterday. I think him with Klubnik and Shipley will be a lot of fun. Definitely need to add around them and boost up, the receiving core, for example, and get that back to where it was, in recent years. But, yeah, he's that's as big of a splash as they could have made. If you think, like, who else could they have gotten really that would have been, oh, wow, they got so-and-so. There's not many names. So I think that was a heck of a job by Dabo to, land the guy that hopefully will be the guy that takes Cade Klubnik to new heights and takes that offense to new heights and makes them, scary again because I don't think they were very scary, this past year.
Nope.
I think you're kind of like whatever, when you lined up against Clemson. So it's going to be his big role to try and bring them back to that same prominence they've had over these last several seasons and get back to, saying Clemson with your chest out. And he'll have the talent to do it. He'll have the resources to do it. And they still, even in a down year, we're, sitting there playing for the ACC championship again. So, yeah, I'm sure he'll make at least $2 million with those bonuses. And just how high he can help them take that is what the ultimate question will be. But I love the hire. I think it's a great, statement by Dabo. And, hopefully he can just bring some of that TCU magic with him because, that wasn't all him. That was some of the veterans that they had. That was Sonny Dykes' input as well as others. But there's no denying he's a good coach.
Yeah, they needed something to jolt.
Yeah, and the games that they lost or sweated out and won over the last couple of years were because they just couldn't put together drives. Now, they had big play thing, they would, run a flea flicker or Will Shipley gets the ball and they score a 50-plus yard touchdown. And then those are kind of demoralizing plays, which kind of helped the defense. But when it came down to if you had to trade drives with the team, Clemson was, as they weren't in the past, really sweating it out and white-knuckling through a lot of these games. So that's what they have to change in offense is they have to have – if you watch the Orange Bowl, they just couldn't against a defense in Tennessee that was okay, but it wasn't – one that anybody should have been afraid of. In fact, gave up a bunch of points a couple times during the year. They could not sustain drives against that Tennessee defense. And that's what they're going to have to do under Garrett Riley, and I'm sure they probably will.
We had the conversation